Tonight's the NFL draft and the stakes are high.
Forget about the past. It's all about the future.
Duval.
Who's ready to put on the teal and black?
Game on.
Who's getting the call?
Who's ready to make an impact?
But if you come here, I'm trying to win.
Live from Channel 4, the local station. This is News4JAGs Draft 25.
Welcome here into our News4JAGs Draft. So the draft party getting underway here at Lemon Bar. As we count down to the 2025 draft, the Jaguars have the number 5 pick. A lot of Jags fans on hand here at Lemon Bar. We got crews all over the place. We'll have Eric Avignon, who's hanging out over at Sneakers. Yvette Sanchez here at Lemon Bar with us, so we'll get a chance to catch up with the fans and see all of the excitement that's around the area, plus Justin Barney hanging out over at the Miller Electric Center. But as you can see, we got a pretty special guest hanging out with us here over on the desk, Brian Thomas Jr., last year's first-round draft pick. Don't get too much better than that.
I know, Brian, how is it? Much less stress this year, obviously, for you.
Yeah, it's a lot less stress. I'm just super excited to be here, though. Super excited. The draft's going on. Just super excited to see who we'll be able to pick.
So let's start off with, there's a lot of new around the team, right? New head coach, new general manager, new executive vice president. What's the energy like in the building now, maybe compared to before all of this? Is it a little bit different?
I say once you walk in those doors, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, and once you come in, you're just coming in there to be better, get better. Everybody's super excited to be able to work with the new coaching staff, and just to be the best version of ourselves. We come in each and every day, work hard, and just to be better.
How excited are you to head not only into year 2, but you're now, with Trevor Lawrence, the face of the Jaguars. Yeah. How much pressure is that putting on you? Do you not even think about that?
Nah, I don't really think about that. I just come in each and every day just trying to focus on working and being the best version of myself that I can be. And just me and Trevor, we both the same way. We both just come in just to be trying to be better. And our relationship is growing each and every day as we getting to know each other more and more. Trevor's getting back healthy. We're just both just pushing to be better.
So this time last year, you were waiting to hear your name called, find your team. Luckily, you landed here in Jacksonville, so you get the chance to hang out with us. So what was it like? What were those nerves like, waiting to find out what your NFL home was going to be, where you were going to go?
It was super nerve-wracking. You're just sitting in the back room, just waiting to hear your name called. You see everybody else getting called. Everybody else getting drafted. So it's just super nerve-wracking, just not knowing where you're going to end up. You got to try to enjoy the moment. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Not everybody gets to go to the draft and be able to hear their name called, walk across the stage. So you just got to enjoy it all. Just try to take everything in and be in the moment. Enjoy the moment.
A year ago, when you saw the 904 pop up on your phone, what were the emotions when you knew, oh, that's Jacksonville, Florida?
When I seen the number, I ain't recognize the area code, and it didn't pop up and say Jacksonville. So I answered and I was like, hello. And they was like, we're with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was like, oh yeah. And Jacksonville was my first top 30. So I was like, just super excited. Super excited to be out here in Jacksonville and be in Florida. And I'm just excited to be here. Keep working.
So a lot of rookies are going to be up in Green Bay this go around watching the draft. Maybe your new teammates is hanging out up there, getting ready to possibly hear their name called, hold the jersey, walk across the stage. What advice would you give to them? You had a pretty good rookie season, so I think you could give them some advice on how to have some success.
Just come in, work hard, put your best foot forward each and every day. Set goals that you want for yourself, and strive for those goals each and every day. Even with your goals, you can tell somebody else what your goals are, or you can keep them to yourself. But I feel like if you tell somebody else, maybe tell a parent, friend, or something, they just push you and hold you to that standard each and every day. Just make sure you're being better and being the best version and striving for those goals each and every day.
So have you talked to Tony, James, and Liam? They're very tight-lipped, but do you know what they're going to do? Can you just let us know?
I don't. I don't. I wish I did. I don't, though.
You want an offensive guy? You want a defensive guy? Another receiver to hang out with you?
That's above my pay grade.
Fair enough.
I'll just be super excited with whoever they get. I know that they got the our best interests at heart, so I know that they'll make the right decision.
You mentioned setting goals along the way. Have you set goals for this upcoming season yet? Have you started thinking that far yet?
Nah, not yet. I'm just trying to get through these workouts and stuff right now, and then when that time comes, that time will come. Yeah.
Speaking of the workouts, how was phase 1? Now you're heading into phase 2. You guys just finished up your voluntary mini camp right before the draft. How's the team been?
Everybody's been good. It's just super nice to just be able to be back and have everybody back, and just getting to know the new teammates, getting to know all the new players, new coaching staff. It's been super exciting, though. Like I said, lots of energy and lots of excitement in the building now.
You mentioned the new coaching staff. I know Coach Camp is the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But do you see the energy, even though you're not in those defensive meetings? Is he like the clips from Hard Knocks that we've all seen? Is that what he is every day?
Yeah, we actually had a team meeting, and we were introducing everybody, and he got up. He was like, just full of energy, and everybody just bust out laughing and stuff. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, I know you're excited about this new offense. What's it like learning a new offense? Is Liam Cohen's offense something that as a receiver you can get excited about, or is it just, look, tell me where to go and get me the ball and I'm good?
Yeah, it's definitely something that you can be excited about, just seeing all the success he's had in the past, and all the success other receivers have had in the past. So I'm super excited just to be able to get in and work, and just to be able to push and be the best version of myself that I can be, hopefully take my game to the next level.
How different is it for your offensive coordinator to be only a couple of years older than you?
Yeah, that's very different. But I mean, he's a great guy, great coach. He's just super cool, super fun to be around. So I mean, I'm just super excited to get to work with him.
I know you've gotten to know a lot of the Jaguars fans around here. A lot of them are kind of hanging around and probably going to try and flag you down here. What has it been like to kind of get to know this fan base? I mean, it's a little different. You were in LSU where they have a feverish fan base, but these Jaguars fans are pretty intense too.
Yeah, I would say both fan bases are great. Just being able to be in Jacksonville and see how all the fans love the Jaguars. I mean, it's super great just to be able to be a part of a team like that. Hopefully we can bring Duval Nation some more wins next year.
Maybe postseason trip? I like postseason trip.
I love that.
Definitely.
You can do it for us, right? We'll be rooting for you.
Definitely gonna try
Yeah.
to.
We'll see if you can put it together. Pick a little bit later in the draft next go around would be good.
Yeah.
You know? All right. I think Brian's got some other things that he's got to take care of up here. Thanks for hanging out with us a little bit. Hopefully, maybe you can bring that postseason. We talked about it here. He'll lock it in. Put that as one of your goals for this upcoming season, right, maybe?
Definitely going to try to.
Give us a Duval as we end with you. Come on.
Duval!
That was phenomenal. And the fans around us are now screaming it too. I can hear it over our headphones.
There we go. A little echo.
Last year.
A little pressure. A little bit better than your head coach did his first go around too. I'm just saying the truth is the truth. It is what it is. All right, we still got plenty more of the News for Jags draft special coming your way right after with this quick commercial break.
I think the key here for people who are going
You have a ton of coverage you guys want to check out. We'll have the route air live here starting at 8, but then after that, we'll have all your coverage on Jaguars.com. You can have over there because
area, so a little bit different, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking to Brian Thomas Jr. just before this, and I think we were all kind of shocked by how many people have gone in here, but he did a big Duval, and I could hear people right behind us screaming. It's like a war chant. Anytime you hear it, you got to repeat it. Got
to start rolling in. You know, that's the energy we're talking about. That's the energy that folks feel, and there's a lot of energy inside that Jaguars building because there's a brand new regime. New regime means new energy, new faith, and new opportunity to see if they can get this thing rolling.
Yeah, and you can tell, Brian Thomas Jr. just said it, the excitement when you walk into the facility, you can feel it, and you can see it in their press conferences. Liam Cohen and James Gladstone, they are committed, they are excited, and they want to turn this franchise around. And that's exciting for all of us to see. I know Jaguars fans, you have been waiting patiently for a successful team to come, and I think this could be it. But James Gladstone has said it. He understands that what he does with that number 5 pick, if he drafts at 5, if he moves up, that's the new thing for today. But that he's going to be judged by that for the rest of his tenure here. But I just have a feeling that he's going to make the right decision.
Well, we'll see what he has to say because this is going to be his first time as a general manager. James Gladstone, a first-time GM. Liam Cohen, a first-time head coach. Tony Baselli, a first-time executive vice president of football operations. All new. And we got a chance to catch up with Tony Baselli a little bit today before the draft. Of course, it's very busy. Jaguars have 10 picks, and right now they're sitting at number 5. And Tony told me that Jaguars fans are going to be very happy with whatever the team does tonight, even if you wouldn't leak the number 5 pick to me.
who knows what's going to happen? You know, everyone's kind of speculating right now. We have a good plan. We understand the plan could change. There's contingencies, but we're prepared, and I think people will be excited with what we do tonight.
You've been on the other side of the curtain, this side. Now you're kind of on the inside. You got to love that nobody seems to know what you guys are going to do.
It's very purposeful.
Yeah.
Listen, we know what we're going to do, and it's best that no one else knows until we make the pick.
3 days. It's not just about the first pick.
No, absolutely. I think tonight's fun. I mean, this is all the hoopla, and everything else, and it's exciting, and we want to get a really good football player, but we're looking for good football players in every round. Tomorrow is just as important. Saturday is critical. We have 59 guys on the roster right now, which is the least in the NFL. We're going to go draft 10, and then we're going to go sign probably close to 20 college free agents. And so you're going to have a bunch of new faces here. It's going to be very competitive on the grass, and we're going to give guys opportunities to go earn a job and be a Jacksonville Jaguar.
That's a big undrafted free agent class.
It's going to be a big class.
Is that intentional? Is that just kind of how it's fallen together? Opportunity?
Yeah, we're just trying to put the best team together that we can, and get the right people in the building and let people go compete for jobs.
A lot of excitement there. Look, that's going to be a big undrafted free agent class.
Yeah, you're right. 59 players currently on the roster. They could bring in 31 players. Now, of course, right now they have 10 draft picks. So if 10 of them are draft picks, you're looking at 21 players of undrafted free agents or guys that they bring in. That is a huge class. They can go up to 90. That's why they have 31. But,
right.
Quite a lot of players we'll see in the next coming days.
So 10 draft picks for the Jaguars. Take a look. It's going to be a busy 3 days for the team. It all starts with this first-round pick that's sitting at number 5. This is a look at the entire first round order. The Titans are on the clock first, but the Jaguars slot in at number 5 if they decide to stay right there in that spot, because maybe they do a little bit of dancing. A lot of people thinking the Jaguars might be a little active. James Gladstone says if the opportunity to be bold is there, we'll take it.
And Jeremy Fowler and many of the national reporters are now saying that the Browns are shopping around that number 2 pick and that the Jaguars are on the short list for possibly moving up. And if you move up, Cam Ward is going to be drafted to the first round. But if you move up, you're looking at Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter that you can draft. So that is quite bold because no one thought that Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter would be in the Jaguars' sights. But if they move up to number 2, you can have anyone you want.
Sure. We'll see. We'll talk a little bit about some of those guys in a second, but here's a look at all of the Jaguars picks. So they start off in round 1 with 1 pick. They have 1 pick in the second round, a pair of picks in the 3rd and 4th, 1 in the 5th, and then a pair in the 6th and 7th. Of course, this is split over 3 days, so going to be a busy 3 days. It's a marathon, not a sprint on this thing.
Oh, yeah. And the one of note is that there's 4 picks in the top 100. The top 100 is really where you want to be. Those are the coveted draft picks. They're going to have 4 different players that you can draft. Right now, that's what they have. They could always, trade those away possibly, but to have 4 picks in the top 100 is quite a lot, and I would love that if I was a GM.
So sitting at number 5, the Jaguars have been there in history a pair of times before, twice to be exact. So, and kind of a little bit of a split result. Justin Blackmon, huge talent, had some success out on the football field, but maybe not a pick that people are going to remember for positive things. Jalen Ramsey, on the other hand, a lot of good on the football field, even if this one came to a back-breaking end that a lot of fans are still a little upset about. So a little bit split here. One you got right, and then another one that you probably wish you hadn't done.
And the last time that they picked with the 5th pick, it was Jalen Ramsey back in 2016. So it has been a long time, almost a decade. Hopefully, if they do pick number 5, it goes more in the way of Jalen Ramsey, but even better, and he stays here longer.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Look, there's a handful of players that are in the running for this thing, so you kind of got into talking about some of them. Here, let's introduce the folks to a couple of the guys that are in the running for this thing. Let's start things off with Ted McMillan, T-Mac.
Oh, I love this kid. This is a really, really good, I think the best wide receiver in the draft. He's a really tall guy, 6'4", really large wingspan. He can go up for the contested catches. I think he would be a perfect complement to Brian Thomas Jr.
Fantastic wide receiver out of Arizona. We'll see if he is the guy in the running for the spot. But maybe, in my opinion, the best wide receiver in the draft has got to be Travis Hunter, the player from Colorado. Heisman Trophy winner, played at wide receiver and cornerback. This is a man who basically needs no introduction because he was just so good on the football field last season. It doesn't get too much better than what Travis Hunter is. He's expected to go at 2nd overall. if the Jaguars are going to get him, that's going to be a bold move, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, Travis Hunter, he won the Heisman. I knew he was going to win the Heisman. There was no one close to him. What he was able to do, not only on offense, but as well as on defense, it's just once-in-a-lifetime type of talent. He is so, so good. Colorado is even going to retire his number. That's how good he was there in the short stint that he had here. Now, if the Jaguars are at number 2, I would love Travis Hunter as well. But I was thinking that he's going to be already off the board. That's why, McMillan was, that's why I said he was the best wide receiver at that time. But listen, if you can't go wrong, Travis Hunter or McMillan, I'll take them both. I'll take each. I'm all good with that.
All right, a couple of guys that probably will be on the board at 5. How about Ashton Genty? At one point, he was a dark horse for the pick. Now he's the favorite according to Vegas. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist, probably would have gotten my Heisman Trophy vote. But the Boise State running back was absolutely fantastic. A little bit of a hometown connection. Was born here in Jacksonville, lived here till he was 6. Family part of the Navy, and then he moved off, played some football in Italy before coming back, and now he's an absolute stud at running back.
Listen, Travis Etienne, he's playing on his 5th-year option. Tank Bigsby has had issues with ball security, so this guy could come in, and to be honest, I think he could be the starter. What he was able to do at Boise State, another unheard of guy. He is so, so good, and it's not just when he starts with the ball, but he can break tackles like none other. He's 5'8", 211 pounds. This is who Justin Barney really wants the Jaguars to draft. He has been on the Ashton Genty bandwagon for months.
We'll check in with Justin here in a little bit. Another guy who's been very highly connected to the Jaguars. How about Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan? He's been fantastic. He's probably going to be one of the first defensive tackles off the board, and the Jaguars need some help on that defensive line. Mason Graham would definitely check that box. How about a couple other big guys on the offensive line? Will Campbell, a guy who's supposed to go a little bit earlier, an SEC guy from LSU. Expected to go at 4, but who knows? Crazy things happen. Maybe he slides to 5.
Brian Thomas Jr. would love to reunite with his former teammate. There are a ton of LSU players on the Jaguars roster, but this is a completely new front office, so maybe that loyalty is out the door.
And maybe one dark horse offensive lineman. How about Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle from Texas, just slide in there. At one point, he was considered to be the top offensive lineman. He's kind of slid a little bit now, and now he's going to go a little bit earlier than people expect. Extremely talented. Look, the Jaguars have to find a way to improve their offensive line. They got to find a way to improve a handful of positions. That's why they're picking at number 5. So there are a lot of needs, and there are a lot of players in this year's draft that could help to fill those needs. But one thing is for sure, whoever the Jaguars draft, they're going to be intangibly rich. So we have Yvette Sanchez, who is live somewhere in the crowd of people here at the Lemon Bar, and we've sent her on a mission to see if people can help us define what intangibly rich is. Yvette, did you find the answer?
Listen, I think like many people, we all had question marks on the top of our head. We're like, wait a minute, that's not what we're used to hearing. We're looking for power. We're looking for weapons. We're looking for bigger, faster, stronger. But then we hear Cohen and Gladstone say, well, we're looking for, this something that's intangibly rich. So I went ahead into this big crowd that's under me, and I said, well, let me go ahead and ask these people, what do they think intangibly rich means for the Jaguars? What does intangibly rich mean?
About the same thing it does in the Navy: honor, courage, and commitment.
Tangibly rich means that they're productive on the field. It doesn't matter about arm length, size, or anything like that. It's about production on the field.
What does intangibly rich mean to you?
I have absolutely no clue.
I know. Okay, so what does intangibly rich mean to you?
Rich from the inside out.
It's a great question. It's a little corporate lingo, and they use it a lot in LA. And you can come up with your own definition. That's the beauty of it. It applies to whatever you want it to.
Well, we're looking for growth, and we're looking for stability. Also, we need a team, a core, and that's what the intangible is, building a core.
So obviously they all had different answers, but they all were trying to say the same thing. They want guys with heart that have that fight in them, that are good at their core, but they can also produce on the field. So that's what everyone was saying. Even after that, that's what everyone keeps saying. They want good guys at the core that got that dog in them. But for right now, back to you guys.
I think that's a pretty good definition.
Yeah, listen, still, every time I hear intangibly rich, my mind just goes blank. I'm like, but I feel like you're right. You just either, Jarrian Jones said it, either have it or you don't have it.
There you go.
You're either intangibly rich, or in Jarrian's case, you're rich, or you're not. I'm neither.
Intangibly rich. We'll see. The Jaguars are going to bring in a handful of guys who are definitely intangibly rich over the course of the next 3 days. We still got plenty more. You mentioned Jarrian Jones. We're going to catch up with him here in a little bit as we continue to kind of check in around everything that's going on here at the Lemon Bar and count down to the beginning of the NFL draft. Again, the Jaguars are sitting at that number 5 spot, but just how long do they stay there? I don't know. Guess we'll have to wait and see. But we got plenty more of the News for Jags draft special coming your way right after a quick break. I'll take a look. All of the looks out here at Lemon Bar as we count down to the Jaguars getting on the clock. The Duval draft party going on. Brian Thomas Jr. on the stage kind of addressing the folks as they get ready. The energy's pretty good here. I like it here.
Yeah, I love it. We're right next to the beach. It is an absolutely beautiful night. Everyone looks great in their teal and gold. And it's so optimistic for the future of the Jaguars. So hopefully that future and that optimism can stay for the future.
It's a little unfair that we're hanging out near the beach, but Justin is hanging out near the Miller Electric Center. But he does have one of our friends over near with him, Mike DeRocco, Jaguars ESPN reporter. Justin, give us an update. Let's see what D-Rock's thinking. Look, nobody seems to know what the Jaguars are going to do at 5, but I like to think maybe D-Rock's in the loop.
That's right, Jamon. Also, it looked like you were having a little bit more fun out at Lemon Bar, but I'm here with Mike DeRocco, a friend of mine from many years ago at the TU, and now at ESPN. And you had a mock draft earlier this week, Mike, and you had a fan reaction of Ashton Jeanty, right? What was the reason for that pick?
Well, it's just you hear some stuff, obviously, when you're talking to people around the league, and then when you kind of look at it a little bit, you go, this team needs offensive playmakers. They have none. Well, let me rephrase that. They have one, Brian Thomas Jr. I did not mean to forget Brian Thomas. They got one really big-time offensive playmaker. You got to score points in this league. Ashton Jeanty is regarded as, after Travis Hunter, the best offensive playmaker in the draft. It's a need fit for a team that has an offensive-minded head coach. And, this team talks about wanting to be bold. First pick setting the tenure or the tone for the tenure with James Gladstone and Liam Cohen. Unless you're going to go trade up and get Travis Hunter at 2, this would probably be the next best thing to set that tone and tell everybody we want to be physically, mentally tough, and we are not messing around anymore. We're going to go get the players we need to win.
Like when I heard James Gladstone say intangibly rich in the press conference last week, Ashton Jeanty is a guy who immediately came to mind, and he said, intangibly rich, what I'm thinking is probably what you're thinking as well when it pops to mind. And Ashton is a guy that I thought about as intangibly rich. Running back, though, is devalued in a sense in NFL draft terms. Is that too high of a pick for a running back for this franchise?
Last time they had a new GM/executive vice president, new head coach, and picked in the top 5 and took a running back in the top 5, they ended up in the AFC title game. So, I mean, obviously, Leonard Fournette 2017 is a different team, obviously. But, you know, I think it's a good pick if you have the infrastructure to use him. And that means, you know, a really physical offensive line like the Eagles did with Saquon Barkley. That's the kind of stuff that you have to have in place. I don't think the Jaguars have that right now, but if they really truly believe that he's one of the top 3 players in the draft, one of the top offensive playmakers in the draft, then go get him. And I understand if they do that, that makes sense from that standpoint.
I think they've drafted 4 running backs in the first round. James Stewart, Leonard Fournette, a couple others they've had in there too. Fred Taylor is a pretty darn good back. So would that be Travis Etienne? Would that be too rich of a pick for Jacksonville when there's so many other needs on this team, and you've got to potentially add 31 rookies to this team on a roster right now of 59?
Yes and no. I go back to if they believe he's really that good and he will make that much of a difference on offense, then yeah, because where are the other needs? Well, interior defensive line. Is Mason Graham going to be the difference maker on the interior of the defensive line? I don't think so. Offensive line, they could go tackle there for sure. I don't know that sets the tone the way James Gladstone wants to. But, you know, they need a corner. They need another edge rusher. That's a potential, you know, person to watch here. Jalen Walker out of Georgia. But I just keep going back to the fact that they don't have playmakers. You got to score points. They don't have playmakers. And if it's all about Trevor Lawrence and building around Trevor Lawrence, they took some steps to address the offensive line. Now they get another offensive playmaker to kind of complement Brian Thomas Jr. It makes sense. It really does to go ahead and take Genty.
Kind of the buzz this afternoon has been the moving up potential. And I personally think they need to move back and compile picks because I don't think they're one player away. I think they need as many top 100 picks as they can. But the buzz, momentum this afternoon has been possibly moving up to number 2 with maybe Travis Hunter in mind. What are your thoughts on that? Have you heard anything?
You know, there's some interest for sure. And I know the Browns are fielding calls. I just saw a report, I don't know, about 2 minutes before I came out here that from Mary Kay Cabot up in Cleveland, that the Browns have something going, something brewing. And it could be fun to watch in the next, you know, couple of hours how things kind of play out. But, you know, boy, like you, I think they'd be better off trading back, getting some more picks. You're right, they're not one player away. It might take next year's first-round pick to go ahead and move up to get Travis Hunter, and that's a pretty steep price to pay. But if you believe that he's going to be an elite wide receiver and help you out on defense, might be worth 2 first-round picks if you're the Jags. But they have so many needs like we talked about before. I think their ideal scenario would be moving back 10, 11, somewhere in there, add a few more picks because they have needs everywhere.
I'm putting you on the spot here. You stay put at number 5. The board breaks as it should with Abdul Carter gone, with Travis Hunter gone, Cam Ward gone, and possibly Will Campbell off the board. Who is your pick when you're on the clock right now? Is it still the Boise State running back?
I think it's Ashton Genty for all the reasons we talked about. And, you know, by the way, on the red carpet today, he had his bedazzled Crocs going on. I mean, is there anything more Jacksonville than some bedazzled Crocs here? I mean, that's a perfect fit. So I think it would be Genty.
It's exciting. We're just probably about an hour out from when the Jags potentially could start getting on the clock with things flowing through. So Mike DeRocco from ESPN will have more stuff tonight on ESPN and potentially Ashton Genty and more talking about the Crocs or another potentially blockbuster move in Jacksonville with maybe moving up in the draft. From the Miller Electric Center, for Mike DeRocco from ESPN, we'll throw it back to you guys at the Lemon Bar.
Well, we'll see if D-Rock's got it right. We're getting closer and closer to the draft. We'll see if Ashton Genty is the guy.
Listen, we love D-Rock over here at News4JAGs. And I actually saw the Swarovski Crocs that Ashton Genty is wearing. Not my style, but a flex.
Hey, pretty nice. Pretty nice. It's stylish. It's different. I don't know if anybody's done that before at the draft.
Listen, he's a one-of-a-kind running back. Those are one-of-a-kind Crocs.
One of a kind. Well, Mike DeRocco and Justin Barney hanging out near the Miller Electric Center. We're out here at Lemon Bar, so the draft party's out here because the stadium's under a little bit of construction as they start to build toward the stadium of the future.
Yeah, we got to talk to Mark Lamping, the Jaguars president, to give us the update on when exactly they may know where the team may be taken in a couple years. So do you think that by the end of 2025, we should know where the Jaguars will be moving for that year?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. It'll probably be well in advance of that. I can't imagine that we would go past the October owners meeting. You know, you can't ratify these things without a vote of all the owners. And those votes only occur at the regularly scheduled owners meeting. So there's one in at the end of May. A lot of work to get done to even be ready for that. But the next one is October. We have plenty of time to be ready for that.
Well, plenty of time. The time for waiting is almost at an end as we kind of wait. The construction's underway. I know a lot of people are concerned about that, but don't worry. It'll be ready to go when the games do roll around. Mark assured us of that. But, yeah, they're looking towards where that home is going to be, or their home away from home for that 1 year.
Not too far away. You know, there was an update that in Orlando, they're getting ready to put quite a bit of money or give quite a bit of money, millions and millions of dollars to the Jaguars for them to come to Orlando and Camping World Stadium for that year. Maybe they'll forego the millions of dollars and they'll go to Gainesville. I would not turn down. I think it's around $11-18 million. I wouldn't turn that down.
We'll have to wait and see what happens when they turn those proposals into the NFL later on this year, so we'll know that answer soon, just like we'll know who the Jaguars' first-round draft pick is soon. We're counting down to the draft here. We're getting closer and closer, less than 30 minutes out from the start of the NFL draft. The Jaguars sit at pick number 5. Could they move up? Could they move back? We'll have to wait and see, but we will stay right here on Channel 4 and count you down a little bit closer. Coming up next, we're going to hear from a Jaguars player that went through the draft process last year, Jarrian Jones. We'll let you hear from Jarrian coming up right after this quick break. Welcome back here out at the Lemon Bar. We were trying to dodge the splash. The energy's high here. Guy just jumps in the pool next to us.
We are literally maybe a foot away from the pool, and I have fake lashes and a full face of makeup on. I was hoping that he would not hit us with his... But he's a skinny guy.
We're in the splash zone. We are
literally
in the splash zone, and maybe the Jaguars can make a splash tonight. We're waiting to find out if they can make a bigger splash than the guy that just jumped in the pool.
And you know what? Everyone says that the top 5 is going to be, quote, explosive. And just about a couple hours ago is when the news hit that the Jaguars may trade up and swap with the Browns at pick number 2. Now, that would create a tsunami compared to what this little kid just did, or I should say guy.
We'll see what happens. Now, one player that maybe was a little bit of a splash for the Jaguars last year was when they drafted Jarrian Jones out of Florida State. He turned into a really good rookie for them, turned in a really good season. The cornerback played a lot in the slot. They drafted him in the 3rd round. He started 4 games for them, but toward the end of the season, people were looking at him as one of the better players on the defense.
Oh, absolutely. Jarrian Jones, a graduate of Florida State, by the way, so go Seminoles. He came in and he really made his mark. I think, you know, the one thing that I liked about him is he had the confidence and he knew coming in he could really start to make an impact. And with him on defense, I think he was the rookie that made it the most impact on defense. Paired well with Brian Thomas Jr. on offense.
Look, there was one thing. I got a chance to sit down with Jarrian Jones, and he said the one thing that his new teammates, whoever these rookies are, need to know is that he wants to win, and they need to be ready to put in the work. So what is your, spot moving forward? What's the plan? I know we talked last year when we were closing out the locker room. You I'm a football player, just put me on the field.
And that's where my stance is right now.
Okay.
I definitely, last season when I was playing, all 100% nickel, I was asking them, can I go play corner? That's what I play. You know what I'm saying? Obviously I play nickel, but I play, I guard people. That's what I do. I play corner. I guard people. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know what all went into it, but just last thing they wouldn't let me do it. So, the coaching staff letting me be able to go do that, that's something when I first met with Coach Camp, when I first met with Liam, that's something I asked them, can I please go play corner? And they was like, well, actually, that's what we were thinking, and I was like, okay, well, we all in cahoots together. And so,
what's Coach Camp like in the meeting rooms? We've seen some of the clips.
Oh, he's exactly like the clips. That's my dog. I would love to play for him. He's somebody going into the game I would risk it for. Yeah.
He gonna crank it up. So, what we saw from like Hard Knocks, that's it.
It's on. It's on. Yeah, it's on.
How exciting is it? This new coaching staff. I mean, obviously, it brings a different kind of energy. Coach Camp brings a different kind of energy. Does that kind of renew you a little bit? And kind of, I mean, I know you excited just to be back with the guys and back getting ready to get on the field.
I'm happy to be with the guys. Like I've built like a bond, with the guys. And I'm definitely like pro the team. Like I'm a team guy. You get what I'm saying? So like just being back in the building and like I feel like it's like everybody got a fresh start. Like we started all the way new. Like everything is new. Like coach, GM, position coach, everything is just completely new. And I just feel like we just got a fresh start. Like I get to enjoy the guys and like we get to build it from here. Like I erased everything that happened. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's just whole new for me.
All right. So if fans are erasing everything that can happen, what can you tell them they can expect from the defense this year?
Oh, we about to be swinging. I'm gonna tell you, we about to be swinging. Like, I ain't gonna give you too many details, but like, it's gonna be exciting to see. It's definitely
look forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see.
All right, deal. So rookies coming in, you kind of gave them a little bit of a message, but future teammates, any sort of recommendations on getting used to the NFL, getting used to Jacksonville for those guys? I mean, they're gonna hear their name called. Is it enjoy the moment? Is it get back to work on the field, rest up? What is it?
I don't really know too much about advice for anybody going anywhere else. But if you come here, like, I'm trying to win. Like, that's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to win. So, like, I would hope that you would come in and buy into what we doing. But, like, because if not, like, I'm kind of making it hard on you. I'm not going to lie. For sure.
Hey, that's fair enough. All right, appreciate it. Seemed pretty straightforward. He's trying to win. Enough said, right?
Yeah, listen, 7 of the 9 rookies last year recorded at least 100 snaps, and Liam Cohen said that the rookies are going to have to compete for starting positions this year. He says they have to get better quicker. So, I mean, hopefully they can get better and they can win for Jarrian Jones. This guy is intangibly rich. He is. That kid
now
is
you've defined
Now I can define it. It took me a couple hours, but I finally got to it. He's all ball, and that's what James Gladstone and Liam Cohen are looking for. They've said that they want people that are mentally and physically tough, and Jarrian Jones is that.
Yeah, if you want to see more of our interview with Jarrian Jones, all you have to do, head over to News4JAGs.com, click on that handy-dandy sports page. Now, he did say that one of the teams he thought he was going to go to last year was Green Bay. So this is kind of a little bit of a reunion. It all worked out because new defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli was on that Green Bay staff. So it was one of the guys that Jarrian liked him in the lead up to the draft process, thought he was going to have a home there, ended up here in Jacksonville, and still ended up getting the coach that he had gotten to know over the course of the process.
My mom always says everything works out, and Jarrian, everything worked out. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way you wanted last season, but now you have Anthony Campanelli, who, by the way, is exactly like Jarrian Jones. He is tough. He is down to business. He's Italian like me, so you got to love that. My mom's watching, so she'd love that shout out. But no, this guy's good. I really like Anthony Campanelli. What we've seen from him in Hard Knocks, a little explicit, but exactly what Jaguars fans you want. This guy is pumped up, and he only will win.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully everything will work out for the Jaguars over the course of the draft. 10 draft picks. We're less than 30 minutes out from the start of the NFL draft. The question is, what are the Jaguars going to do in the first round? We've talked a lot about what the folks here at Lemon Bar are thinking, but we'll check in at some fans that are watching the draft from some other locations, plus check in what fans on social media think the Jaguars should do over the course of the draft. All that's coming your way next when the News4JAGs Draft special continues right after this. Welcome back out here to Lemon Bar as we count down to the start of the NFL draft. The Jaguars are waiting for their turn to get on the clock. So are the Tennessee Titans, who have the number 1 overall pick. But we don't worry about them around here. A lot of Jaguars fans excited for this and want to know what the team is going to do. Just like it feels like everybody else in the NFL world is waiting to find out. What are the Jaguars going to do?
I think all eyes are kind of on the Jaguars. Of course, everyone knows what the Titans are going to do, but you have a first-time GM, you have a first-time head coach. They are very tight-lipped. No one's talking inside that front office. We've tried, trust me. But listen, I think everyone's looking to see exactly what they do. Will James Gladstone continue what he did with the LA Rams, or is he going to go off and do his own thing? We'll just have to wait and see. Now the news is that they may trade up. Tony Baselli, you heard in your interview with him that it's going to be exciting, it's going to be explosive what they do. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. So during this process, mock drafts get thrown around a lot, and we'll talk more mock drafts a little bit later on. But one of the things that we kind of wanted to do was involve the fans in this thing. So we went over to X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it at this point, social media, and we went pick by pick, and I asked the fans, okay, who do you want at this pick? Who's on the board? What we gonna do? And this is what we call the Duval fan mock draft. This is what they came up with. Great participation. It was really fun. And honestly, a pretty good class. In the first round, Mason Graham. I don't think too many people will complain about that.
Oh, absolutely not. He's been the one that's been mocked to the Jaguars for a long time, except for the past couple weeks. Now it's to Ashton Genty, but now who knows what's going to happen. I like Mason Graham. I think he would be great as an interior defensive lineman. Eric Armstead's going to be moving inside, but he's not a long-term goal. He's an older guy nearing retirement. He can't play forever, Eric. I think he'd be great with Josh Hines, Allen, and Trayvon Walker. That would be a defensive line I would not want to mess with. And if you're running back other than Derrick Henry, you're going to probably have some troubles getting through that.
And then you go to the second round. They got lucky, landed Gray Zabel, the offensive lineman out of North Dakota State. A little bit of a small school guy, but really good there. Third round, they get the cornerback from Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame. Wide receiver from Washington State, Kyle Williams. Look, it's all about adding good players, and all of these guys are really good players. Fourth round, Andrew Mabuka, a safety from Texas, and a guy that Brian Thomas Jr. probably knows, Savion Jones, an edge from LSU. Plus, you get Isaac Tesla, wide receiver from Arkansas, Ty Robinson, a defensive lineman from Nebraska, Jalen Reed, a safety from Penn State, and quarterback Tyler Shaw from Louisville. So a pretty good draft class. I like what the fans came up with here. Even I don't know if I'd go Mason Graham at 5. I don't know. That's just not my flavor of the month. But I like this draft class overall.
Hey, Justin Barney loves Gray Zabel, the offensive lineman. He said maybe he was texting us earlier, and he said maybe they'll take him with the number 2 pick if they trade up. I don't think that's going to happen, Justin.
Justin's just having nightmares of Jaguars drafts past. That's all that is. But there are a lot of Jaguars fans who are enjoying getting ready for this year's draft. The draft's always a lot of fun. We're here at Lemon Bar, but there are Jaguars fans all over Jacksonville. We've got Eric Avier, who's hanging out with us over at Sneakers, where it looks like there are a handful of Jaguars fans over there. Eric, are they? It sounds like they're pretty loud and they're like they're ready to go.
Hey, they are, and you know what? I'm ready to go myself, so you know I do this every year on the draft party night, so here we go. This will be no different. There's a party going on right here, a celebration to last throughout the year. So bring your Jags gear and your laughter too. We're going to celebrate this draft night with you. Come on now. There you go. They kind of changed that up on me. Boy, these guys have been, they've just been having fun over here all night. And you know, since the last time you guys saw me, this place has filled up a little bit more over here. I'm going to walk you guys through some of this because I've been talking to some really interesting people over here. We got some really interesting tables. For example, this guy right here, he's a Denver Broncos fan. His little baby that's not here right now, she's a Broncos fan. The wife is I believe is a Bengals fan. We got the lone Jaguar fan right here. I think we've got a Jet fan over here. Man, how are you able to cope with all these different team fans?
I don't know, man. You're used to coping as a Jaguars fan, so you just they're good people, and except for him, the Jets fan.
I know you and we were just talking earlier about the rumors that are going on in terms of what might happen before that draft pick. What are you really hoping for?
I'm just excited to get like a quality starter on the team, an exciting player, and I think when you're sitting at 5th and you have the options we do, we're going to get that. So whoever it is, I'm excited and hope they're a good quality player and help the team win.
Gotcha, man. Thank you. And it's not just over here. I want you to take a look at this group over here. So we got a ton of Jaguar fans, but we have the one lone Pittsburgh Steelers fan. In fact, there's actually quite a few Pittsburgh Steelers fans here. Now, I got to ask you, man. Are they treating you okay over here? Because you're like the lone Pittsburgh Steelers fan over here.
They're treating me great. I really appreciate the hospitality. You know, Steeler Nation all day.
Are you gonna take that?
Well, you know, it's Duval.
Wait, say that one more time.
Duval.
Up there you go. Duval rules. Duval rules. I mean, take a look at this, man. We got another Steelers fan over here. Now I got to ask you. Now, come on, Brad. You got to be here for the Jags too.
Oh, I'm rooting for y'all for sure.
You're rooting for
for sure. As long as you ain't playing Pittsburgh, brother.
Oh, you hear that? All right.
Let's go Cowboys.
Okay, so we got a Cowboy fan over here too. So you know, we got a little bit of everything in here, but I would say that the majority of the folks in here are Duval or Jacksonville Jaguar fans. In fact, let's go back over here one more time over here, because now, guys, you know, I have to say, I just went over there, and let me tell you something. We got Cowboy fans over there, Pittsburgh Steelers fans over there. What do you say about this?
Cowboys now. Come on, y'all ready? No. 1, 2, 3.
I didn't hear that. Did you guys hear that? And one more time, what is the county in Florida that the Jacksonville Jaguars play in? You heard? Yeah. So again, we're just having fun here. Everyone is just having a really good time. We're waiting for the draft party to start, and obviously, there are quite a few people when you talk to folks right here. Everyone is kind of on pins and needles because they don't know how this is going to play out, because there's so many rumors of the Jags either going up or down or staying at that 5th spot. So, of course, when that time comes, we'll bring it to you live. Reporting live, Eric Amier, Channel 4, the local station.
All right, Eric, I see you. This is how you get banned from sneakers for life, by inciting a Duval riot.
Listen, Eric Gagne is an absolutely exceptional news reporter, but the smile he had on his face, I just love him. He was really amping up the crowd there.
He was the hype man. He was getting everybody ready to go. Now, he was talking a lot about Duval, and there's a handful of guys that are in this year's draft class that know a thing or two about Duval County, because they lived here, grew up here, played high school football here. And two of the guys that expect to hear their names called throughout the draft are Pat Bryant and Jalen Rivers. Both played high school football right here in the area. Pat Bryant was a star wide receiver at Atlantic Coast High School, went on to Illinois, had a fantastic season, scored a handful of game-winning touchdowns over the course of his collegiate career, while Jalen Rivers played offensive line at the University of Miami. He was an offensive tackle for the Miami Hurricanes, plays high school football at Oakleaf High School. He's waiting to see if he can hear his name called over the next couple of days.
I actually have a story about Pat Bryant. My last job that I worked at was in Central Illinois. I covered the University of Illinois. And my last year, Brett Bielema, who's the head coach, he was raving about this guy that they just signed, Pat Bryant. He was saying that he's going to have such a successful career at Illinois. And now, being here in Jacksonville, I had no clue that Pat Bryant was from here in Jacksonville. And now I'm here in Jacksonville, and we're covering him as he gets his name called probably on Saturday. He's looking like a 6th-round draft pick, but he was such a star at Illinois, played and started in all 12 games, second team all Big Ten. He led the team with 984 receiving yards and a record-tying 10 receiving touchdowns for a program. So I'll say ILL Pat Bryant to you, but good luck. I hope you get your name called. And it's just what an awesome story for Jalen and Pat to be hometown heroes, really, for this year's draft.
Yeah, fantastic to hear from Pat. Small world. Pat was one of the star guys in this area when I first got here. Got to see a lot of the points that he scored over there at Atlantic Coast High School. Also got to catch up with him just a couple of days ago. He came back to Jacksonville to talk to his youth football team, standing on the field where it kind of all started for him, so kind of the full circle moment for Pat. He said that he is a little nervous about when the draft comes, but it's right back to business for him.
So playing, especially on this field, because I had a lot of like game-winning touchdowns on this field too. But just, you know what I'm saying, coming back to where it all started, just having those memories, seeing the scoreboard, and just seeing the kids run around, just knowing that was, you know, me growing up and having those same dreams and aspirations. Just, you know, having the chance to speak wisdom into them and just tell them that, you know, dreams come true, and I'm a prime example of that.
Any nerves for when the draft comes around?
I mean, when I hear my name called, but I'm more ready to, like, you know what I'm saying, get back on the field, you know what I'm saying, put those pads back on, rookie OTAs, just get back into, you know, the game that I love.
So no emotions when the phone call comes, just back to business.
I mean, I say that now, but, you know, things might change. You know, once my mom might shed a tear, I might shed a tear, but, I mean, it's always going to be cheers of joy, man, just feeling like, you know, my dream came true, mission accomplished, but, hey, I ain't going to stop there. I still got about 10 more years in me, you know what I'm saying? So really just, you know what I'm saying, just putting it all on the line and just trying to achieve my goals.
Just kind of the start of something new.
Facts, definitely.
And if you're wondering how many Jaguars have drafted like local hometown guys, 4 in all of the draft history, the latest one being Cooper Hodges in 2023, but they drafted Shaq Quarterman, D. Webb, and Rasheed Mathis.
Yeah, Cooper Hodges, Baker County guy. Shaq Quarterman, of course, another Oakleaf guy, so I'm sure he'll be cheering on Jalen Rivers wherever the Oakleaf and Miami connection for the two of them sees his NFL career start. But we'll be keeping an eye on those guys over the course of this draft weekend. We're getting closer to the start of the NFL draft. Actually, just a couple of minutes away. We'll take this quick break, and then we'll wrap things up here from Lemon Bar before we head things over to News4JAGs Plus. But we'll be right back after this quick break. It's almost time for the NFL draft to kick off. We're going to take our coverage over to News4JAGs.com and that News4JAGs Plus app. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you over in News4JAGs Plus.
You're watching News4JAGs Plus. ExactTrack 4D constantly scans for new threats in your neighborhood, alerting you faster than ever when severe storms are heading your way.
Another nice warm day for us. Stepped outside. It's like, yeah, definitely feels like summer.
Very nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed it though.
See some rain though, Rich.
We do need some rain. Some folks in southeast Georgia are going to see some here, although the thunderstorm cluster, you can see where it's starting to break apart, and that means we're starting to see some weakening overall. We'll keep an eye on this part of the complex as it'll move over toward the Camilla and Pelham area. And the same thing up around Montezuma. America's here. The thunderstorm clusters are breaking apart. The one that I'd be watching is this one that's moving away from Montezuma over toward Perry and Warner Robins, and that's where a lot of the active weather has been centered up around the Milledgeville, Macon, and Warner Robins area. Little clutter that's moving in through areas around Homerville, but as far as the sea breeze front, it is already passed by, which has now put the 20% closer to I-75, leaving us as little as the 5 to a 10% chance. Even our clouds are starting to clear, which, by the way, means if you're heading out to the beach there at the Lemon Bar, a very nice night as conditions continue to slowly cool off. The beaches right now between the 70s and the lower 80s, and here as we take you to downtown, still looking at the lower 80s. That's at the airport, I would say, in and around downtown directly, up to about 83 degrees. Mayport right now showing 82, and that'd be similar to what we're finding over there at the Lemon Bar, with 70s and 80s now across the inland areas. And the holdout is also where we have our 20% there at Valdosta at 88 degrees here. All right, mostly clear. We've got that coming. Warm conditions and some patchy fog overnight tonight. We'll wake up to that for Friday. That'll blend away, taking us to the partly cloudy skies. Another dry day on tap. And as far as the chance for showers that Tarek was just mentioning, Sunday looks like it will be the best day. Even the rapid refresh model here has continued to where it was showing some showers possible up to and around Homerville. You can see that that is now out of the forecast, and there you go. The numbers showing that 10 to 5 or 5 to 10% with 20% now left over closer to I-75. Heading out to the beaches tomorrow, moderate risk for rip currents will continue under what will still be the onshore flow, 10 to 15 knots coming through, showing 11 right now. And the waves, there were some decent ones out there. Check the favorite pages there, 9/11 or whatever it might be, for the tides and the best rides. Those tides, by the way, coming in low tide in and around the lunch hour beach side, and then earlier in the morning here along the river. And our temperatures continue to cool. 2 degrees cooler now between Orange Park and Jacksonville. Green Cove on the plus side by 1. And Palatka also showing some cooler temperatures, as are areas in southeast Georgia picking up the outflow from some of those thunderstorms. 60s will be widespread. The only areas that I would say could be the exception will be along the beaches, where we could see some of those temperatures stopping in the 70s before making that turnaround back to the 80s tomorrow. 64, 65 degrees here for the Golden Isles, and then as we move away from US 17 and 95, will cool temperature.
That would be one to remember. That would set a tone. That would be a tone setter.
He understands that what he does with that number 5 pick, either trade up, trade down, or pick at number 5, is going to be what everyone remembers him by as his tenure here as the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think he's very confident. He knows exactly what he's going to do. Shad Khan brought him here because he is one of the wizards with the draft. You've heard Sean McVay with the Rams say that he is just so good at what he does. That's why he's young and he was brought here as the general manager. I think they know exactly what they're going to do. I think they're going to be very aggressive, and I think they are going to make it known around the league that this is a different Jaguars moving forward, and we're going to let you know by what we do with that 5th pick.
All right, take a look at the draft order as it stands as of right now for the NFL's first round. The Titans sit at number 1, the Browns at 2, Giants at 3, Patriots at 4, and then the Jaguars slotted at number 5. Now, the Jaguars have 10 picks over the course of this year's draft. Starting with number 5, this is a 3-day process. The first round is tonight. The second and third rounds are tomorrow. And then on Saturday, rounds 4 through 7, the Jaguars are going to have a lot of work to do on their hands, but it all starts with number 5, a spot that the Jaguars have picked in twice before.
Yeah, that's right. The last guy that they drafted, number 5, was Jalen Ramsey back in 2016. He had a pretty good time here until he left. So hopefully the new Jaguars pick at maybe number 5, or wherever they do pick, can be just even as good, maybe even as better.
Look, Jalen Ramsey was fantastic. Now, the other player that they picked at 5 was Justin Blackmon. Justin Blackmon definitely flashed as a wide receiver when he was on the field, but his tenure not one that's going to be well remembered. While Jalen Ramsey definitely going to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer one day now, I don't know if he's going to go into Canton, Ohio as a Jaguar. I don't think we'll be talking about him as the second Jaguar player to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, just because the back-breaking way we saw his term come to an end here in Jacksonville. So we'll be keeping an eye on Jalen Ramsey. He's also a player that's on the market, looking to be traded by the Miami Dolphins, who could be finding a new team over the course of the next couple of days. So we might see where Jalen Ramsey's headed. But the Jaguars have had some pretty good luck at finding talent at number 5, even if neither one of them really ended the way people wanted them to. Can they find a third guy? Can they find someone else that can finally give that number 5 their flag planter, the second maybe Pro Football Hall of Famer in franchise history? Is that too much to ask?
I don't think that's too much to ask, and I'm confident they are going to. If they stay in the top 5, this will be their 11th time the Jaguars have held a top 5 pick. The last time they picked top 5 was 2022 when they drafted Trayvon Walker. Of course, that was a different regime back then. This is a brand new one, younger one, I think more aggressive one. But, yeah, I'm excited to see exactly what they're going to do. We've said it multiple times. They are very tight-lipped. No one is speaking in the Jaguars front office. We have tried. Everyone has tried. James Gladstone is locked in. He did an interview with Jaguars reporter J.P. Shadrick. He wasn't messed around. He didn't want to do the interview, I don't think. J.P.'s a great reporter, but he wanted to get straight to business and into that war room.
All right, the Titans are getting ready to be officially on the clock, which kicks off the NFL draft. Now, while the Titans are on the clock getting ready to make their pick, let's talk about some of the guys that are in the running for the Jaguars to possibly draft, especially if they're sitting at 5. Let's start with Ted McMillan, T-Mac as he goes by, the big wide receiver from Arizona. By many, he's considered as one of the top wide receivers in this year's draft class, a big go-up-and-get-it kind of guy. Trevor Lawrence loves his big wide receivers, and what better than to bring in a guy who can be the Robin to Brian Thomas Jr.'s Batman, right?
Absolutely. This guy's 6'4", 78 wingspan, and has made a ton of contested catches for Arizona, where he played college football, and I think he can do that exactly here and be the counterpart to Brian Thomas Jr. BTJ is going to be the one that everyone is going to be scouting this upcoming season. So you need someone else that could go up and give the defenses some trouble, and that's going to be maybe McMillan, if not wide receiver Matthew Golden from Texas. And if Travis Hunter is still there, which I don't think he will be at number 5, but maybe the Jaguars draft up to 2 and they do pick Travis Hunter, another phenomenal receiver that could help Brian Thomas Jr.
Another guy on that offense that could be helpful, who is also in attendance at the NFL draft in Green Bay, Ashton Genty, knows a thing or two about Jacksonville, lived here until he was 6 years old. Father was in the Navy, made the move to Italy after that, was a fantastic running back at Boise State. This could be the Jaguars have had luck drafting running backs. They drafted a running back, they go to the playoffs. Look, they drafted Fred Taylor, go to the playoffs. You draft Leonard Fournette, you go to the playoffs. First round running backs have worked out for Jacksonville.
You draft Travis Etienne.
He was hurt. He was hurt his rookie year.
That's true.
That's not fair. That's not fair. He was hurt his rookie year. But his first year that he played, went to the playoffs.
That is very true.
I'm just saying, there's a trend there. There's a trend there. Liz Frank during the preseason, so his first season in the NFL, playoffs. So I'm just saying, first round running back, postseason trip.
Justin Barney has been on the Ashton Jeanty train for 2 months. When he started, everyone was saying, you're crazy, Justin. They're going to go with Mason Graham. But now it seems like maybe Ashton Jeanty will be the pick at number 5 if the Jaguars take him. This guy is an absolute beast. If you were watching college football this past season, you knew who Ashton Jeanty was. He would be so good here at the Jaguars. Listen, Travis Etienne is playing on his 5th-year option. Tank Bigsby has had issues with his ball security the past 2 years. Ashton Jeanty should not have an issue with anything. This guy is just an absolute beast, especially breaking tackles. I mean, my goodness, he's 5'8", 211 pounds, but he looks like, it's kind of like Derrick Henry when you're just a brick wall.
Yeah. All right, speaking of a brick wall, kind of like that transition there. This guy is a brick wall. Mason Graham, big defensive tackle from Michigan. He is an absolute brick wall in the middle of the defensive line. He's going to probably be the first defensive tackle drafted in this year's class, and he has been the most frequently mocked player to the Jaguars over months up until maybe this week. It was almost a foregone conclusion, it felt like, that Mason Graham was going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar, and now everybody's saying, well, not so fast, Mason. Maybe you need to look at some real estate somewhere else besides Florida.
Listen, James Gladstone has said the number one trait he looks for in a defensive player is disruptive. And you cannot be more disruptive than Mason Graham. 122 tackles this past season, 43 tackles within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage. You can't do anything 2 yards within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage. Maybe if you're on the 1 yard line, you score a touchdown. But Mason Graham would be so good as in the interior of this defensive line. Pair him with Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. I wouldn't want to go up against that. It's going to be a long day for a running back if you're going up against those 3 guys. Listen, Eric Armstead moving inside, but he's not a long-term deal. This is an older guy who's nearing retirement. Mason Graham could be the next guy. Maybe, listen, I was on the Mason Graham bandwagon for quite some time. Now I'm getting off it. I say that I'm stranded on an island all by myself because I have no clue what they're going to do. But I think Mason Graham would be an absolute beast. He comes from a winning program, and Liam Cohen says he wants players from winning programs. Michigan, of course, has had their controversy, but it is a winning program.
Yeah, Michigan definitely a winning program. All right, since the Titans are on the clock, Justin Barney's over at Miller Electric Center. Let's see if we can check in with Justin before we get this pick in. I know Justin was on the Ashton Jeanty train. I'm not sure if Justin... Oh, there he is. if Justin can hear us. Justin, everybody's kind of caught up on the Ashton Jeanty stuff. Titans are officially on the clock. There's a possibility that maybe we're talking about the Jaguars a little bit earlier than we thought.
That's right, Jamal. And you and Alessandra finally got on the Ashton Jeanty train with me. I think when we did our podcast back in early March or late February, I brought up the possibility of Ashton Jeanty really being able to help Trevor Lawrence out in Jacksonville, and they went out and addressed that offensive line and free agency, and lo and behold, the Ashton Jeanty talk has really accelerated over about the last 7 days. Will that happen? I don't know. You mentioned earlier 4 running backs drafted in the first round by the Jaguars, and they've all pretty much had success. James Stewart, he was a first-round pick in 1995, that expansion year, really good career here in Jacksonville. You had Fred Taylor, who was drafted at number 9 back in 1998. He had an unbelievable season, probably would have been Rookie of the Year if not for Randy Moss's otherworldly rookie season. Then you got to go to Leonard Fournette. You mentioned playoff season for Leonard Fournette, and then Travis Etienne, who missed his first season with a Liz Frank injury, but his second season, the Jaguars went to the playoffs. So there is something to be said about drafting running backs in the first round and then that success coming over and following them. They've really not had a first-round running back miss if Jacksonville decides to stay put at number 5 and ends up pulling the trigger on Ashton Jeanty, who you mentioned was born here in Jacksonville, did live here a little bit of time from a military family, moved out of Jacksonville when he was 6 years old. So he has a little bit of ties to the area. It will be interesting to see if he is drafted tonight, asking Ashton what he remembers about Jacksonville. But another thing to remember is offensive line. They did address that in free agency. If you remember, the offensive line last year really had some struggles struggles last year and even the year before, struggling to move the ball on 3rd and 1. And I think that's partly because the running game, running back, Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby were a little inconsistent, but the offensive line too, they have got to get better. You hope they did that in free agency by adding Chuma Edoga, Patrick McCarry, and really guys like that, Robert Hainsey at center to replace the retired Mitch Morse. So you hope they've addressed the issues with the offensive line in free agency, and I would not be embarrassed or upset to see them take an offensive line. Jamal's been really high on Kelvin Banks Jr. Will Campbell's expected to go in that top 5, so I would not be upset to see those guys come to Jacksonville, because I do think offensive line needs some still needs some reinforcements. But when you have a chance to get a blue chipper, potentially Ashton Jeanty, who's been almost a consensus number 2 overall player in this class behind Travis Hunter, I think you, as Jane Gladstone wants to say, he is intangibly rich, and I think that would certainly leave a mark in terms of his first draft here in Jacksonville. Live here at Miller Electric Center, we're waiting for that first draft pick to roll in. Back to you guys, Lemon Bar.
All right, Justin, while we wait on that draft pick, let's check in with Yvette Sanchez, who's out here at the Lemon Bar. I know she's surrounded by fans that are eagerly waiting to see what the Jaguars are going to do. Yvette, I know the anticipation's kind of building now that the Titans are officially on the clock.
I heard you toss to me, but I could not exactly hear what you were saying. But obviously, this is what everyone is waiting to hear here at the Lemon Bar. They are waiting for the Jaguars to say the pick is in and who they've selected. I've been talking to people all day, and like I've said earlier, they've been wanting to see Jeanty. A lot of them want to see them, but a lot of guys want to see an offensive lineman. And you know what? Like I said earlier, I'm totally down for that. It's all about the big boys, and we got to have them protecting Trevor. So I don't know if you can see behind me, we've already got the draft going on. This place is packed. It was wild beforehand. I know Jamal and Alessandra, obviously you guys saw it. They were playing games. People were jumping into the pool. So the vibes are here. Everyone is ready and everyone is waiting. They've got about 4 minutes left on the first pick, so we're still waiting. We're 5th pick, but you know what? We're just going to have to sit here and wait. But for sure, we will have for you guys when the pick is finally in. But for right now in Neptune Beach, Yvette Sanchez, back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Yvette. Well, the Titans pick is in, so let's take a quick break before we see who they ultimately draft and then see who's on the clock at 2. We'll be right back after this quick break right here on News4JAGs Plus.